Last week I did Suzhou Creek here in Shanghai by the little cruise ferry, and today I'll be doing it with the little e-bike here. We've got some absolutely fantastic weather again, and we are starting here at the Thousand Trees development again, phase 1, phase 2, and we will go down towards the east. I've been using this bike for several years, maybe about 5 or 6. I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go along. We are at the Changhua Road Pier. The ferries are off there in the distance. It's 11:30 at the moment, and that's why that strip is across there, because the first boat leaves at 1 p.m. There's all the trees and plants, flowers on the border. We're going back to pick up the bike. The way to access this particular ferry terminal is kind of through the building site for the second phase of the Thousand Trees at the moment, so it's a little bit difficult to find. More construction going on in Shanghai. So what we have here is the M50 Art District, and we will take a little look inside. The first thing we have at the entrance, if you can hear me over the construction noise, is the Ministry of Malt, which is a whiskey bar slash restaurant. There's a few F&B places here, but then in the remainder of it, it's mostly art galleries. Materials also available, and then here we have Shang art. I think this is quite famous. There's the waterside part, and then into M50 entrance here from the waterside. That is honestly a quick stop here in M50. There's a lot more to show you, but I can't stop everywhere for a great length of time with the amount of places we've got to see. I guess I'll be picking up a fair bit of wind noise on the camera. Sorry for that. We'll probably go from one bank to the other bank a few times today, but we'll cross over this way now to the north side. It's okay to turn on a red here in Shanghai. There we go, across there, over the river again. This is the Joda Park on the south bank, and it's called Joda because of the 9 games that were played here. Zhou is 9 in Chinese. There's one. So there we have the walkway going down to the water's edge. Back to the bike. What we have here is an old warehouse. I think they are using for food and beverage. You can see Old Six Cafe Bar, but it looks like this will be retained. And here we have Beer Lady. Let's just stop and have a quick look in here. It's quite quiet with people, but you can see it has these many fridges of beer. I'll have a quick look in the 1908 space, formerly the Imperial Bank of China. I hope we can have a look into the space. And then also something here. It would appear this particular space is currently unoccupied, but there are some galleries downstairs. But we have quite an interesting building. The overall Suzhou Creek. We're here, it's all in Chinese, but it's listing the various bridges, and you can see also things like the warehouse, and you can see the dates there. So that will be the Astor House Hotel. Bye bye Beer Lady. There's a Line 1 metro station that comes in right there. I want to say Xinhualu, but I might be wrong. There's the going back over to the north side again. What we come up to next is the fairly new Fotografiska warehouse, built in 1910, and next to it is a very famous building that I mentioned on the cruise video. This is the Sihang building, made popular by the movie The 800. I'm just going to park up here and we'll look at have a quick look at both of these two. Even though we're right here, I'll do them in order as we go eastwards, so into Fotografiska. First, it's not free, it's 120 RMB to get into, and they have several exhibitions going on currently. It's mainly contemporary photographs, I believe. This first floor cafe area is available, and there's also the gallery shop there. Right, so one of the galleries is not open, which is kind of good for me because it means that it's half price. The warehouse seems to have retained a fair bit of its original structure. Bright day. From the creek and then into this internal space, we have a small cafe bar, and hopefully, I didn't test it, good, this doorway, and then out onto the rear with that lovely work going on. That's why there's nobody on this side. But then also we have a view of the Sihang warehouse from up above. There's the rest of this canteen. Okay, onwards. Let's have a quick look through the shop. And there's the cafe space down here on the ground floor. There's an information board over there. I'll go there later. Sihang warehouse. It was where about 450 Chinese were held up during the Japanese invasion of Shanghai, and it was made famous by a film called The 800. There was not 800 people, but the Chinese wanted the Japanese to think that there were. That was in the Chinese area of the city, and the international settlement was just the other side of the river. So the Japanese did not want to attack from the north, so they did it mainly from the west and from the east, I believe. They did not want to miss and bring primarily America and Britain into the fight. I'll do a link to the other video up above. The damage you see on the wall, I believe, has been reconstructed, and the info board tells us a little bit more about that. We have the date as October the 26th, 1937, 420 officers, and you can see here it does say that it's been reconstructed in 2015. People leaving little remembrances here, which is often cigarettes, I've heard, and indeed today it is. Yeah, sometimes flowers and sometimes cigarettes. There is a museum which I've been into before, which is round the corner here, and often there are school trips here to learn a little bit about the history. There is the entrance to the museum. Like I said, I won't go in today, and you can see it was originally the Joint Trust Warehouse. So a warehouse like many other along the Suzhou Creek here. Another old warehouse. Lost or not cafe bar. This building sits back from the river a little bit and is the previous Chamber of Commerce. It's part of the Bulgari Hotel now. This building here is what I refer to as the Victor Sassoon S building. Now we're coming up to the Shanghai Post Office, which used to incorporate the Stamp Museum. It possibly still does. Let's have a quick stop and look. former Shanghai General Post Office. Let's have a little look inside. That's all roped off there, but you can imagine it in its heyday. Courtyard. It would appear it might be operating as a very small post office still. A photo of, I guess, the courtyard with all of the post office trucks, and then inside quite a bit busier than today. Creek, post office, and on to the super tools, and we're on to the Huangpu Bridge. I'll show you what I mean. It's called the drone bridge. Many people take the photos here because of the good view you get of the city skyline. A different viewpoint this time. So Bellagio, post office, then on to the rock bund we'll maybe see later, the rowing club, and then the Peninsula Hotel, former site of the British Consulate General, Garden Bridge, super tools. Now we will pop briefly into Broadway Mansions because I made a mistake on the last video about the date it was built, and then we've got the Astor House Hotel in the background. Astor House Hotel, I think, is on this site from as early as 1854, and the Broadway Mansions was much later. That's somewhere like 1934, but it kind of makes you think that these buildings, or rather the Astor House Hotel building, was here something like 80 years before the one next door. So it was definitely one of the prime hotels that people would stay at, actually, whilst they were waiting for their own residences to be built in the late 1800s. A quick look inside Broadway Mansions, that is. So yeah, 1934. Really brief this time. Done it before, so you can feel it's kind of got a bit of a Art Deco style. There's a snooker table over there because they used to have some snooker clubs here. This piano from Rachel's, which is a store in Germany, made that 100 years after the store was first started. And then some historic photos. The British bar is in the lobby. I don't think I've seen this before. Huge enamel Fahrenheit thermometer. Apparently it was hung outside from 1934 to 2008. It's showing 71 degrees at the moment. I cannot cross the river by the Garden Bridge, so it is back to the Huangpu Bridge. Go to the Rock Bund area and show you that. So we're now going to be doing the south bank as opposed to the north bank in the last video. Again, Empire of the Sun, this is where they crossed over to go to the party. Link up there. So down this way is what's known as the Rock Bund. Can't get there by bike. There's the old rowing club, complete with swimming pool, and the framework of where the building used to extend to. And then that is the old British Consul General. Just show you in through the doorway. They do allow people to go in to the grounds, but not so much the building. What we have behind us was on to the Bund proper, but I can't take the bike there, and we've seen it before in other videos. This is where we have the Christmas market, or the German Christmas market. People getting their photos taken all around here. I've heard about this. This is a little bit new, I think. A map. So what I was calling the Rock Bund is Yuanming Yuanlu. We're here and we've got this little alley. So these alleys are a little bit new around here. Classic bookshop cafe. And that's called Naive. Min Wong Cosmic Theatre. Whatever that means. So that's La Perla restaurant. There's a few coming soon down here, so still being developed. The Rock Bund Art Museum, and then some installations here, primarily this large model here, Tireless Girl, which has become a popular photo shoot. Then back onto the main road with the peninsula on the right here. I came up one of the rock Bund buildings just to show you the view here. It's quite good. We've got the back of the Bund there over towards the Peace Hotel. We've got the Peninsula Hotel, the former British Consul General. There's the Martyrs Monument, the super tall buildings over in Lujiang's Way, Garden Bridge, Broadway Mansions, Astor House Hotel, Russian Embassy, and then the actual street down below there. Now I'll just show you through the restaurant, which is empty because it is not lunchtime at the moment, but this is Otto e Mezzo Bombana and it's a 2 Michelin starred restaurant. Thank you very much, and one of my favourites, but obviously I don't get to come here that often. I hope that was interesting, having another tour of the Suzhou Creek area, including 1 or 2 bits at the end here, like the rock Bund, the new development that's going on here, and upstairs to a lovely 2 Michelin starred restaurant. I will have to return at some point when I've saved up a little bit. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.